Morning, everyone. I am so delighted that all of you are on this Zoom. Welcome to this presentation. Our next guest is all the way from the US, Dr. Shaun. Dr. Shaun is a board-certified neuroradiologist. She's the founder of the Vitality MD. She's a former president and medical director of Coastal Imaging Associates. She's a former chief of neuroradiology. She is a two-time 160-mile Ironman triathlete. She's a marathoner, an ultra marathoner. She is married to a gastroenterologist and a former president of the Mississippi Gastroenterology Society, Dr. John McKee. She's a mom of two sons, two happy little dogs, and one zany big dog. Thank you so much, Dr. Shaun, for being on here.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
So in starting, what attracted you to LiveVantage? You are a neuroradiologist, you're an athlete, you have all the credibility, and then you were presented with this opportunity. I'm sure that you also have done your due diligence into the company.
Absolutely. Now, as you might imagine, a physician, a busy physician working and then doing all of the training to do ultra marathons and Ironman triathlons, never mind CrossFit, and running a busy household and several businesses, there was a lot of oxidative stress in my life because that's the byproduct of breathing, and athletes tend to breathe more. So remember that if you're an athlete, you have more oxidative stress. And it was fine until it wasn't fine. It was like all of a sudden at my mid 40s, 44, 45, I began to notice that my body wasn't working the way it used to, the way it was supposed to. I would be, very sore after workouts, like really sore. I would fall asleep whenever I'd sit down on the couch for the very first time in the afternoon, like late afternoon / early evening. And in the morning, I'd hit the snooze button multiple times. I felt foggy. I was forgetful. I would lose my keys and my purse and my phone. And I was snappish. I was like, basically feeling just stressed. And it was because I didn't feel well and I wasn't sleeping well. So my husband he's to blame. He suggested that I see this wonderful anti-aging doctor. She was board certified by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. And he said, well, he sends all his cancer patients to her, when they are really looking like death and they come back looking like $1 million. And I was kind of a little bit insulted that he said that, but, I really did appreciate that he wanted to see if I was, lacking something. And she did, thousands of dollars worth of tests on me. Found that I was depleted of cortisol, low in thyroid, low in magnesium, low in D3, low in testosterone, all the things. And she put me on a wonderful natural regimen of supplements. And I had already started to go down that path. I started to read everything I could get my hands on for inflammation because, I was never like, I didn't have any conditions that would, affect inflammation, but I just felt like everything was inflamed. I felt like my brain, my gut, everything was inflamed. And so I was searching both medical literature and lay literature, like magazines, even in the grocery store, looking for things that were natural for antioxidant or anti-inflammatory purposes. So I was on this regimen of about 28 pills a day, and I hated it. I hated taking that many pills. I hated taking the time to open that many bottles and swallow. And, so I did it anyway because I knew that, I needed to address some of the things that were going on inside. As physicians, we're not trained in natural medicine at all, supplements and the like. But I went back to see her for my 6-month follow-up. She said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Fine, I hate taking that many pills." And she says, "Well, there is one thing that's clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress by almost half in 30 days. And I happen to know what oxidative stress was because my coach called me the oxidizer because I would finish a CrossFit workout and then go run 18 miles and then go to work. No, actually it was not. I would run 18 miles on the weekend, but in the morning before work, it's sometimes 8, sometimes 12. And he'd literally laugh and call me the oxidizer. And I thought, that just means I'm doing a lot of aerobic exercises. But what I really thought about it, and I was like, oh, that means I'm rusting from the inside out. So when she told me about what she had found out about something that reduced that by almost half, I was like, you had me at hello. I'm taking that for the rest of my life. That's the thing I've been looking for. That's the thing that gets to the root cause upstream of everything that's going wrong with me. So I got it. I actually went to a website called protandem.com. I don't even think it exists anymore because I didn't know it was sold through a network. They asked me who told me about it. I said my doctor, and I gave her name. She wasn't a consultant, so it was funny. I just kind of bumbled into it, but I knew that when you reduce oxidative stress, you can get away with not taking all those other things that say they reduce inflammation, which they don't really have any studies on. And I knew, I mean, is to say you reduce oxidative stress by almost half has been unheard of until this. So I just recycled those bottles, ran out of this, that, and the other that I was taking, recycled the bottles, and went down to a much simpler regimen and began to feel like myself again.
Wow, what a story. You absolutely look like $1 million now. And thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that experience, because I think for a lot of people, they don't have the diagnosis, the label to slap on why they are not feeling well, but they just don't feel well. And to put it into perspective and to know that there's something upstream that we need to work on, and NRF2 is really going to help with that. That is so valuable. So being a neuroradiologist and knowing the benefit of NRF1, NRF2, NAD, and collagen, what is your perspective on how these activators can help with brain function? Why is it important?
Well, it's important for 3 reasons. One, your brain is about 3% of your body weight, and yet it consumes 20% of your energy requirements every day. So it's a big deal. It's doing a lot, right? It has the most mitochondria per cell, about 100,000 per brain cell, versus about 10,000 per heart cell. And a muscle cell or a liver cell or a kidney cell may have 1,000, right? So the brain is very energy intensive. It is making tons of energy, and in doing so, it's making tons of that byproduct, free radical damage or oxidative stress. In addition to that, the bulk, 60-70% of your brain's weight, that's dry, not water. Of course, there's a lot of water in there, but the dry weight of the brain, 60-70% is fat. And we all know that if you leave an oil out exposed to air, you leave butter or nuts, they oxidize. That oxidation damages the fats, it damages the lipids, it damages everything. It damages protein and DNA, etc. But since the brain is so much comprised of fat, it's making so many free radicals due to its enhanced metabolic activity. That's the site that's going to respond the fastest, the best, the most, and is most in need of reducing oxidative stress.
So important. I hope all of you were taking notes because that is life-changing information. Now, Dr. Shaun, our most recent launch of collagen, we have launched the collagen, and then you guys, the Scientific Advisory Board, together with the team at LiveVantage, have done an amazing study assessing the synergy between the NRF2 and the collagen. Can you share a little bit about that study?
Yes, this study was really remarkable because we didn't start, or actually I had nothing to do with the study, so thank you for that, but I can't take credit for it. We have some amazing researchers at LifeVantage, and they are just really brilliant. They didn't ask, does this do X, Y, and Z, and let's just look at this small area. They literally said, let's look at all of the RNA and do sequencing and just put the two together, the NRF2 and the collagen, and look at all of the pathways that are affected. And they each affect different pathways. As you know, the NRF2 pathway is, the master regulator of oxidative stress. And so it's impacting various things in that arena. And the collagen, it impacts the genes that are responsible for making collagen. It downregulates the genes that are responsible for breaking collagen down. When they put them together, however, they activated and enhanced or turned down an entirely different set of pathways. And they studied one particular cell type, the fibroblast. The fibroblast is that cell type that produces collagen, but it also has signaling benefits in terms of it breaks the cycle of stress, and that stress is going to damage the fibroblasts. So fibroblasts are able to stop your body from sending unnecessary signals from immune response and making it more optimized so that it doesn't go out of control and have that chronic inflammation. So it balances the immune reactions. And so what they found was that the combination of collagen and Nerve2 downregulated something called NF-kappa B, that is the master switch of the body's rapid response to stress. So that actually codes for production of inflammatory cytokines, interleukins, those signaling molecules that go and create chronic stress. We need some, right? We need some. If we get a splinter or we cut ourselves, we need that immediate response to heal. But the problem is our bodies in today's world have such an overwhelming amount of stress signaling coming in that our bodies never get the message like, look, the cut is healed, the splinter is out. It just keeps bringing these in. It creates this vicious feedback cycle. And what the combination of these two did is it turns down that NF-kappa B response by 33%. And not only that, the end products, the interleukin 6, IL-1B, interleukin 1B, those get turned down by 97 and 88%, as well as it upregulates things, the proteins. Now, we don't have to get into the names of them all. It upregulates the proteins that also quell that. So by like almost 1,000, one of them over 1,000%, one of them very nearly 1,000%. So by upregulating the genes that quell that overreactivity, that hyperreactivity, and downregulating the genes that actually produce that hyperinflammatory response, it balances our body's immune system, calms it. And that's really a great background for why we're seeing the amazing changes, not only in skin, but brain function, mental, stress, mood, gut, joints, etc. So it's wonderful that we actually have the science that shows exactly how we're getting these results, and we have the results that show that the science is working.
Thank you so much for explaining that study. I also had a study. It is absolutely mind-blowing what they found in that study. And just to think about the context of what it can do for you when you take the NRF2 and you clean out your cells and you add the collagen and you just build bigger, better cells, not bigger cells, build better cells, and to know what the impact is going to be on functional health, and to know that we have access to that is absolutely incredible. So in closing, Dr. Shaun, working with LifeVantage so closely, I know a lot of medical professionals are skeptical, and it seems like you had a lot of on your plate. You had multiple other businesses. If there is someone considering the business opportunity, wanting to share these products with other people, what would your advice be?
That's a great question. Once I knew what this did, I felt absolutely compelled to let people know that this was possible, because I had been searching and searching and searching and not even come close. I'm taking all these things that I'm guessing and not feeling any different for 6 months, and spending all that money and putting all those, pills in my body for no benefit. And when I found out this has the studies, has the science, is clinically proven to reduce the underlying cause of inflammation, which is oxidative stress, by 40% in 30 days, I was absolutely compelled. I would feel bad if I didn't tell someone, and don't tell the company, but I would do that even if they didn't pay me, because this is a very big deal and hardly anybody knows about it. And the gratification and joy that I get from watching my friends transform from not being able to do something that they really wanted to do, that they used to be able to do, to being able to do it, and vice versa, to go from having to use aids and devices and not having to use them after starting to activate their body, and their blood work going back to the levels that they used to have when they were younger. And it's a joy. It feels like almost like a moral obligation to me, but I think that I would be a bad person if I didn't share it.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. It is our duty as a good human being to share this with as many people as possible. Dr. Shaun, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.